Now, can you see me? I think I'm looking on my phone. Okay, so I kind of got it working. All right, so I'm basically here to answer any questions that you guys may have. So there's only one person here so far, which is it's all good. Hey, how you doing? So if you guys have any questions, you can start typing them in the chat. I think you guys can see my screen and my face at the same time, which is weird, but I'll get all that worked out. All right, so do you guys have any questions? If you don't, I'm just going to start going through the most commonly questions I've been asked in the past couple weeks. Okay. Bang the computer on something. That's fine. All right, I see no one has typed or asked anything, so I'm just going to go through the most commonly asked questions that come up. Um, all right, so we're looking right down here at these questions. As I'm going through these, if you have anything, just go ahead and start typing. I'll stop and answer whatever you got. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I was asked, what if I get my SF86 done close to the deadline? Well, you and everyone else, and I had the same question. Uh, when I was applying, I got it done within 21 days. That's because I kept going back and forth between HR. It was the first SF86 I've ever done, and it had lots and lots of errors. So, um, as you get closer and closer to that deadline, make sure that you're communicating with HR, and that way they know what's going on and just tell them, hey, there's plenty of errors. We're going back and forth. Can you guys please bear with me? Also, contact your hiring airport and tell them what's going on. Are you going to be disqualified because of that? Honestly, I don't think so, and I've never heard of that happening either. It takes a lot of time and money to hire someone, so they aren't that uh, willing to let someone go on a minor technicality such as that. I passed my medical like a month ago. How long does it take to pass my background? Okay, did you join the military at any time? Or do you have a military background? If so, if you join the military, you've done lots and lots of traveling. You've also done a lot of things that you probably can't talk about from combat missions, things like that. So it can take some time depending on how much the investigator has to go through. However, if you've only if you have the kind of background or I did, or I was only 25, 26 at the time, and they were only going back to age 18, it went by within 60 days. And that's if you have clean background. You don't have any bankruptcies, you don't have too much uh, debt that's in delinquency, you don't have a lot of people to contact. For example, if those of you that have those of you that have ex-husbands and ex-wives, the investigator is going to go talk to these people. So it all depends on how long it takes to contact your references, your contacts, verifying your employers, and then you'll get cleared. So, short answer is it should it should take anywhere between 60 to 120 days, depending on what you have going on. If you don't have anything going on, about 60. If you have a lot of things going on, it can take quite a bit, but it just depends. Does that answer your question? And it also depends on how backlogged they are. So, just to give you an idea, I had to do a reinvestigation in 2018, and I had the investigator interview December, no, November of 2018. I didn't get the final blessing off on the security clearance until um until June or July of 2021 or 2020. It took almost 2 years, and that's because they are super backlogged, and COVID didn't help either. It basically shut everything down until operations were rearranged, and then they got started back up again. So when it comes to your background check, no news is always good news. However, just to give you guys a heads up, if the investigator contacts you and asks you a question, chances are they already have the answer. So, all they're doing is waiting for you to verify that answer. In other words, be honest, don't lie. If you do, they've already got the drop on you. All right? Do you guys have anything else? Okay, cool. I'm gonna go down to how long until I get hired. The answer is that depends, and that depends on one or a couple big things. One, how big is the airport that you're applying to? If you're applying to LAX, JFK, ATL, or Miami, or some big airport, you can get hired pretty quickly. Almost within a month of hitting the ready pool. It also depends on how quickly that airport is trying to hire people. So, it depends on how short-handed they are and how quickly they can go through their hiring certificates. If you're applying to a medium-sized airport, for example, Denver, or if you're applying to probably Oklahoma, Will Rogers World Airport, that'll probably take anywhere between um, what maybe 90 to 120 days. Just depends on what their turnover is like. However, if you're applying to a smaller airports such as Omaha or Lincoln, Nebraska, or Melbourne Airport in Florida, it's about a half an hour from Orlando. It can take a bit longer to get hired because those airports are smaller and the turnover probably won't be as high because smaller airports don't have as much going on, so people have a lot more time to just hang out and they aren't as stressed. When I worked at Atlanta Airport, on a busy day, which was every day, we processed about close to 5,000 people an hour, and that's on an okay day. When it was really busy and we we had the Boeing 747s, 777-300s, or the Airbus A380s, and all that coming on, not A380s. Those weren't around back then, but the bigger jets. And they all came at the same time from Tokyo, came in from Seoul, came in from places like uh, Dubai and Qatar. We had close to 20,000, and we were processing 20,000 in about an hour. And it got hectic. Um, you're basically sweating through your uniforms, and you're just processing as many people as possible as fast as you can. All right, so it all depends on how how much turnover that airport has and how short staffed that airport is. Because of COVID, a lot of airports are very short staffed. I have a few friends at Atlanta Airport who are supervisors, and they're telling me that even though they have people transferring in from other airports, they are still super short staffed. So there's that. So in other words, how quickly until you get hired once you hit the ready pool? Answer is, it just depends. All right. Does anyone have any questions about that? All right. Sorry, guys. I'm coughing. I'm just getting over COVID, like a lot of other people. It's probably like the popular thing to say now, but yeah. The next question I get asked pretty often is how long till promotion to E band? That's Echo band. Okay. So when you first get hired, you get hired at D band, Delta band, and in the federal government, you're you are eligible for promotion every 52 weeks. There's a caveat to that. If you are a part-time employee, your 52-week time frame, okay, let me kind of qualify that. If you're a part-time employee, if you're looking for the automatic conversion from D to E band, that 52-week time period doubles because you're only there part of the time. However, if you are applying for a promotion, then 52 weeks is 52 weeks. That's it. This whole part time, full time thing with TSA is very confusing. I don't understand why they do it that way, but they do. And to be honest with you, I was expecting a promotion from D to E band um, while I was there, and I was there 22 months, uh, 3 weeks and 6 days, and I didn't get a conversion at all. So, from my past experience, I can tell you if it's going to be an automatic promotion, not all 52 weeks is equal. If you're there part time, 52 weeks is going to double to 104 weeks because you're only there part time. But if you're a full time employee, then 52 weeks is 52 weeks for automatic promotions. If you're looking for a promotion that you actually have to apply to, in that case, 52 weeks is 52 weeks. Does that answer your question? Or I'm sure someone will probably ask about that later on, but that's the answer. I'm trying to find my water. There it is. The next question I'm going to move on to is, all right, full time versus part time. I get a a lot of questions about what are the benefits between full time and part time. The answer is the benefits don't change. The only benefit that you get is the hours. You go from working 25 hours to 40 hours a week, and you start picking up additional um, holiday pay and all that other stuff just because you're there longer. Um, TSA does have this weird rule, requirement, policy, or whatever. I'm not sure if it's still around, but if anyone is still, or if anyone is currently at the TSA, you can go ahead and correct me. If you want holiday pay, you have to work on the holiday, the day before the holiday, and the day after the holiday. It's confusing. It's not supposed to be that way. I don't get why they do it that way. I didn't plan on staying there, so I didn't really bother finding out. Other than that, there really isn't too much of a difference between part time and full time. I didn't pass my medical vision part. The tech was new and didn't know how to transcribe the vision results. Will the TSO, uh, will the TSO, okay, you mean TSA, take my doctor's exam results? Yes, they will. A lot of people have found themselves in this situation. So what happens is you will go ahead and you will be rejected because of vision disqualification. You get an appeal packet. You go to your doctor, have them complete that. You send the appeal packet back in. How long does it take? I've seen it take anywhere between 2 weeks to almost 90 days. Um, Once again, it all depends on how backlogged that office is. And what do I mean? So it just depends on how many people filed appeals and how many contract facilities they have to go over that paperwork. Um, this whole thing about the contract facilities is pretty brand new. Um, when I applied in 2009, hired in 2011, uh, the airport assessment it's changed because of COVID. Uh, when I was being hired, the airport assessment, the entire thing, start to finish, including your medical exam, was all done in person on the same day. So I got an invite to go to the airport assessment. I interviewed the same day. I did the medical checks. I did the color vision test, and I did the fingerprinting all within 8 hours. Because of COVID, all that changed. Your interview is done virtual or it's done on the phone. And then your medical checks are done at a contract. Um, your medical checks are done at a contract facility. Now, these are going to be the cheapest, lowest bidder facilities that they can get their hands on. And from a lot of the comments I've gotten from people, they've either said that the tech wasn't qualified or the tech didn't care or the tech just wanted to go through the process as fast as possible. So, I mean, that's what happens when you hire in mass like that and you tend to just go with the contract facility. Uh, these people aren't really paid to care. You're just another number and you're being processed. So, with that said, you just have to play the game. And if you get denied on medical, it's fine. You can appeal. If it's something minor, it gets overturned. If it's something that's major and it could cause a health, it could cause a hazard to your health on the job, it probably won't get overturned. But for a simple vision test, I've seen those get overturned all the time. Does that answer the question? All right. I'm sure you'll probably type an answer. It's okay. I'm just gonna keep um, moving on. I get asked, how do you get converted from part time to full time? Hang on. Um, Thank you. He wasn't paid to care or trained. I knew something was wrong uh, when he didn't know how to take my pulse and kept hesitating. Welcome to the federal government. It is what it is. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not. The entire government isn't that way. I was in the hiring process for CBP, and I went to a contract medical facility, and the thing is, they they were actually good at their job. It was an actual doctor's office that was contracted, and an actual doctor came in and signed off on the paperwork that the tech had to complete. So sadly, this is just the TSA, and once again, it's just the game that you play. But the thing is, you only have to do it once. Once you get hired, you're good to go. Though I'm not trying to talk bad about the TSA. I mean, every agency has its own problems and issues. Only thing is, you hear about the TSAs more often because people just talk about it all the time. All right, so in other words, it is what it is. Don't panic. Just play the game. Complete the paperwork. Get the paperwork in. You'll be okay. All right. Do you have anything else? Okay, I'm gonna go to part-time to full-time conversion. Okay, I get asked pretty often, how do you get converted from part-time to full-time? It's going to depend on two things: seniority and availability. I did do a video on this. So when I was at Atlanta Airport, they were doing part-time to full-time conversions, and they converted about, I think, close to 1,500 people, and I was just barely at that cutoff. So I didn't make the cutoff on the first go around. However, by the time that second go around came, I was already gone to other jobs. So I would have gotten converted on second go around, but things I didn't care to stick around. So it's based on availability and your seniority. However, you also have to have a clean record. You can't have any attendance problems. You can't have any behavioral problems. You can't have bad evaluation scores. You actually have to be competent at your job if you want to be converted to full time. So, yes, the TSA does have a standard, and they do try to stick to that standard as best as possible. People in the training office are actually very good at what they do, and they care about their jobs. So, if you're a bad employee, guess what? You don't get converted. I guess I totally understand it's TSA was a tech, and I need to let their office know who's not qualified to do assessments out of 2020. I need rated me way less than that. Yeah, I mean it happens. But good thing is, all you have to do it once, and then it's over. Okay. Next question is, uh, new versus this old airport assessment. I've already covered that, so I'm going to go on to getting hired by the TSA will solve all my problems. Okay, I thought the same exact thing when I got hired by the TSA. Oh my god, it's the holy grail. It's going to solve everything. I'm going to start climbing the ladder quickly. Things will be a lot easier. That's not true. Your uphill battle just started. Here's what I'm talking about. You have to understand the federal hiring process. You have to understand how to write resumes, how to do interviews, and how selections are made. So, you have to actually play the game and you have to figure the game out. How do you do that? You have to apply for jobs. You have to apply for jobs over and over and over again. I applied for close to 536 jobs. I got referred for an interview 6 times, and I got 3 offers while I was at the TSA. And those interviews and offers didn't start coming in until I actually took the time to learn the federal hiring process. So that's what I'm doing here with you guys, is I'm trying to teach you the process and what you have to go through. I spent 2 years painstakingly going through and learning about all this. It took a lot of patience, it took a lot of frustration, it took a lot of tears. There were plenty of times driving to work, I was crying and I was miserable. I'm like, why am I stuck here? Well, it all paid off because I can take the knowledge I gained and I can help you guys here today. So, yes, it's an uphill battle, but yes, it's doable. I'm just one example of people that were able to climb the ladder and go do something else. So, what do I mean that your problems just started? Number one, don't go around the entire checkpoint telling everyone what your plans are. Don't tell them how much education or experience you have. There are people that will support you and they will try to help you get to where you're trying to go. There's also people that won't do that. I'm not saying don't trust people. All I'm saying is use your best judgment when you talk to people. Number two, you have to understand the type of experience that you have and how to leverage that experience. And in order to do that, you have to actually sit down and go through every job that you've ever held and go through all the duties that you performed at each job. And you have to write down the steps involved in every single duty. It's going to take you a while to do this, however, it pays off. You don't understand the experience that you have, and you don't understand how to leverage that experience until you actually take the time to figure out what experience you have and how you've used it. Once you do that, you go to USA Jobs and you start typing in keywords. For example, I have a degree in anthropology. I went into USA Jobs and I just started typing in anthropology just to see what jobs pop up. And I started typing in um, keywords like analyze and evaluate, analyze information, just to see what jobs pop up. And then I started going through each and every one of those jobs. And I started reading the requirements for each and every one of those jobs, the skills and the knowledge that you have to have. And I started to see a recurring pattern of certain keywords based on the jobs I was looking at. I went into my resume and my job skills and I started to find out, okay, when have I done these skills? Or when have I done something even remotely close to these skills? And then I started to build a resume based on those skills and those keywords. words. Those key words come from the job posting. I did a video on how to find keywords. Watch that video and then start going through your own resume and experience. Try to find out what type of experience that you have. Now, once you do that, comes the fun part. You start applying for jobs that you think you qualify for, or even remotely think you qualify for. And this is going to be a game of trial and error. You are going to apply for every single job that you can, and you are going to tailor your resume to every single job. And then you're going to sit and hope and pray to whomever you pray to that your efforts pay off. You can't just apply to 1, 2, or 3 jobs. I was applying to almost 10 jobs every week, sometimes 10 jobs a day, just depending on if I was off or how much time I had. And as I was applying to these jobs, I started to get referred for interviews. I would go back, find that resume, compare it to the job I applied to, and I started to figure out, okay, here's what's working and here's what isn't. Whatever was working, I kept doing it. Whatever didn't work, I didn't think about it ever again. And then when I started getting interview offers, I started finding out I can't apply to jobs that have just 1 or 2 openings. I'm going to get beaten out on the veterans preference every single time, especially if I'm applying for a job in DC, Texas, and California, because those places are very veteran heavy. So I started to apply for jobs that had at least 10 or more openings, or if the number of vacancies said many vacancies. And once I started doing that, I got more and more interview invites. And then at that point, it was just a matter of practicing interview questions over and over again until I started getting job offers. Here's a good thing. When it rains, it pours. When you start getting job offers, you start getting job offers. You start getting them left and right to a point where you start to turn people down and saying, hey, I already took this offer, I won't take that one. You can start to be picky and choosy. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to an uphill battle. One thing that you should do, and I was doing this shamelessly, I was talking to other passengers and I was asking them, hey, what do you do? What's your background? And they will tell me, and I will tell them what I did or what my background was. And a lot of them asked me, well, what are you doing here? And I asked them, can I have your business card? And they gave it to me. And I started to apply for jobs in corporate as well. So you can also use your own passengers for contacts. You will start to find out that a lot of people at the TSA are highly intelligent people. A lot of these guys are former U.S. Army JTTF interrogators. A lot of these people have degrees in science and technology. I worked with a few people that were also attending law school. Once they finished law school, passed the bar, they took off and found other jobs. So TSA is kind of a breeding ground for a lot of different people to come together, but at the same time, don't get stuck. Okay, what do I mean when I say don't get stuck? Before you apply to the job, have a plan as to how you're going to get out. If you're getting hired and then you say, okay, I'm going to think of how to get out, you are going to get stuck because you're gonna get caught up in that whole you're gonna get caught up in the whole what do I do? How do I do it? I don't understand any of this. So when you get hired, or here's what I did. When I got hired, I told myself I'm gonna stay here 2 years. 2 years because that was the probation time. Anything past 2 years, or as I start getting closer to that 2 year mark, I'm gone. And that's exactly what I did. As soon as I got hired, I started applying for other jobs that I even remotely qualified for. I was even entertaining going to pilot school. I was I was interviewing for jobs with Pepsi. I was interviewing for other jobs in corporate at the same time. I got the final interview for Pepsi. On the same day, I got a tentative job offer with immigration. I accepted the final interview and the tentative job offer. And at the end, I didn't get Pepsi, but I got immigration, and I got it right at my cutoff deadline. So you're probably asking, okay, if you hit 2 years, what would you do? I would have been gone. At that point, I was already completing application paperwork and student loan applications to go to pilot school, become a pilot, and go do something else. So have a plan before you go in, and then have a plan to get out. Now, if you plan on staying there, cool, stay there. There's nothing wrong with the job at all. A lot of people do stay there because they either have houses, family, wife, kids, and all that, or spouse, kids, and all that, and they can't move around. That's perfectly okay. Um, Other people who are in their early 20s or just graduated college, they'll come, they will stay about a year and a half, 2 years, and they're gone. I'll do a video on how to how to have a plan and setting yourself up on getting into something and then getting out of it. Uh, but yeah, so does anyone else have any other questions? Because I'm basically just talking at this point. Okay, I do get questions about should I take a part-time job? Okay, the answer is that depends, and that depends on you and what you are able to financially withstand. If you're a if you're like me, I was young, about 25, about 24, 25 years old. I was living in my parents' house, and only expense I had was gas, student loans, and just eating out. So I was able to take a part-time job. I didn't have to worry about it. However, if you have other obligations, if you have family, you have kids, you got bills to pay, you probably want to really think about taking a part-time job, because if you do, you will probably have to take two jobs, just to support yourself. So ask yourself, these are the expenses I have, here's the income from a part-time job. Is this going to be a good idea? And if the answer is yes, cool. If the answer is no, but you still want the job, you have to figure something else out. All right. I see there's one person in the chat. If you're getting value from the things I'm talking about, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. It's a easy way to support the channel. And if you're getting value from this, please tell me in the comments below. That way I can keep doing these sessions. Um, what I'm probably going to start doing is answering people's frequently asked questions in these Ask Me Anythings. Unless anyone else has any questions that they want to ask, I'll happily go and answer them. Um, so there's one person in the chat. Yeah, there's one other person in the session. Do you have anything that you want to ask or want me to talk about? Do you have a college degree in criminal justice or anything? Sorry, I'm out of missed that info. I have a college degree in anthropology. If you're asking what that is, it's basically psychology, sociology, and world history put into a blender and someone hit the on button. And so I was trained to understand people, cultures, how people think, human behavior, things like that. In other words, it's you can't really use that degree without a graduate degree, and normally it wouldn't be a problem if I graduated college in a strong economy. I graduated college in 2009. The economy went belly up because the housing market completely collapsed. People's 401ks went out the window. Quite a few of my classmates had job offers, and then those job offers got rescinded. So, if I graduated college today, I would have found a job very quickly, uh, something in corporate management. But because I graduated in a bad economy, I was pretty much pigeonholed into doing whatever job I could find. So, did having a college degree help me get the job at immigration? Yes and no. It helped me in the sense that I was able to substitute education in lieu of experience because that's how the job posting was written. So, because I had a degree, I was able to get the job. If I didn't have a degree, I would have to have experience. And at that time, I didn't have that kind of experience, so that was the thing I relied on. When I was hired by immigration, the agency came out with paying people to go to college. They were basically paying your college tuition if you decide to study something in the realm of immigration or management or whatever. And that's exactly what I did. I went to grad school. I got them to pay for half of it. So I only did it because someone else was paying for me to go. If they didn't pay, I probably wouldn't have gone. But did I have to go? No. As in, did I have to go to college? Did I have to go to college to get this job? No, I didn't. Um, the current job that I have as a refugee officer, um, yeah, the current job that I have as a refugee officer, do you have to go to college to get this job? You don't. However, it helps because the competition is very stiff. It's a highly coveted job, and you have to absorb a lot of information in a short amount of time, and you have to be able to apply that information readily. And it's a very law application heavy job. I don't have a law degree, but they teach you how to do all that. a lot of the people I work with do have a law degree. Um, one of one of the supervisors has a Harvard law degree. A few other people went to Georgetown, GW, and other top law schools. They've also done other types of international work with the UN, IOM, um, IRC, other nonprofits, and they've also been in private practice. Though I had to compete against those people to get the job. However, once again, I played the numbers game. I waited. I applied for the job a couple of times. I didn't get hired, and then they opened the floodgates, and they were hiring about 150 people. I applied. I got hired. Though, am I saying that they watered down the standards? No. The standards were just as high. They were just able to diversify their applicant pool and the workforce, and they were able to bring in other people from different backgrounds. At the time, I was in grad school, and that helped me get hired because a part of the hiring process, I had to show them a writing sample, either from grad school or something from work. So at the time, I had only grad school writing samples, and I gave them that, and that's basically what got me on. Bro, you have three live streams open with different viewers and questions in each. Oh, that is annoying. I don't have any idea how to shut those other ones down. Oh, hey, Paul, how's it going? um, yeah, I'm trying to figure this thing out, and it's my first time doing this. It would be a huge help if you could kind of drag those people in here, because I don't have any idea how to get to those. I could try to figure that out, but honestly, I don't mm, know how to do it. Um, Let me see. um, Live chat. Um, there you go. If you could please give them that and have them come into this one, and then next time I'll figure out how to only get it down to one uh one uh live stream. Okay. Does All right. Anyone else in this live stream have any other questions? I don't know what that does. Okay. Let's pop out chat. I'll stick around a bit, and I'll see if anyone else uh, jumps into here. Let's see. If you just came in, if you could please tell me in the let people know to come to the earliest live. Okay. Um, Once again, I gotta figure out how to do that. It's my first time doing this. I probably should have practiced, but I didn't. I thought it would be easy to set up and all that, but apparently it's not that straightforward, and YouTube didn't make anything any easier. Um, but if you're in this live chat, just tell me in the comments below And if you have any questions, you can go ahead and start typing them in here. I can try to see if I have any other live chats going on. Or, yeah, I have to figure out what else I got going on. Let me check on my phone. Let me see here. Let me search mine. Three watching, one watching, two watching. Okay. Okay. It's not that one. This is this one. Okay, join the earliest live session. Okay, I found someone in one there. And let me see if there's anyone in here. Okay. There's someone that asked, um, wow, there's a lot of people. I wasn't expecting that. Um, what about dental plans? You do get dental taken care of. There are separate dental and health plans. Your health plan does have a dental rider on it. What it means is you get health care and 2 free teeth cleanings and x-rays a year. However, you want to get a separate dental plan. If you're curious about which dental plan you should get, send me an email after you get hired and I'll tell you which one. I can't publicly endorse one over the other because I'd be doing because I just can't do that. Um, Military time and service. Okay, so for those of you that join the military, so you can buy back your military time. In other words, if you spent 10 years in the army and you want to buy back those 10 years, what's going to happen is there's a whole calculation that goes into it. I don't understand what the calculation is, but hang on. I'm just trying to see how I can get other people into the other uh, from the other live chats. 3-1. Live chat. Okay. Hey, I'm gonna try and copy this. and I don't have any idea how I got this, the copy link address. Again, hopefully that should
Again,
work.
hope.
Okay, so buying back your military time. Let's pretend you served for 10 years and your start date is, and your federal government hiring start date is today, and you want to buy back all that time. When you buy it back, your start date gets pushed back 10 years if you buy back all 10 years. And that time does count towards your retirement. So you can retire 10 years earlier than everyone else. How do you buy your time back? It's best if you do it on the day that you're hired in the during your HR orientation, and all that will get explained to you. I didn't do a military buyback simply because I just didn't go all the way to service. I was in officer candidate school. I got a job offer. I took off. So I didn't have any of the buyback stuff going on at all. Um, Let me see what other people have asked. Still. um, Let me see if I can find other people. If you're in here, give me a heads up. Okay. Not sure who else is in here. Let me try to look at the other chats again. I promise it'll be a lot better in future live chats. This one was just kind of a hoping it would work out. Okay, there's quite a few people in this. Oh, okay. Alright, so everyone else. Okay, so I'm streaming to 3 different places. I just can't see all the chats. Okay, that makes sense. I'm gonna go ahead and open up all the other streams. That way I can see all the other chats and I can go ahead and answer your questions that way. See, there's Okay, so I think this one has all.
Okay, so I think
people
this one has all the
in it.
people in it.
All right, so give me a second. I
All right,
will read
so give me a
through
second. I
your
will read
questions. Okay.
through your
Someone asked
questions. Okay.
how long was the
Someone
investigation
asked
process
how long was the
with
investigation
immigration?
process
Okay. Once again,
with
that
immigration?
depends
Okay.
on
Once again,
your
that depends
background
on
and what
your
you have going
background
on in
and
the background.
what you have going
All
on
right.
in the background.
So, mm,
All right.
my
So,
investigation with immigration
my investigation
took
with immigration
was supposed to take 120
took
days.
was supposed to take
It
120 days.
ended up taking close
It
to
ended up taking close to
100
100
120 days, 4 months. It took almost
120 days is 4 months.
180
It took
days,
almost
and that's because
180 days, and that's
one of
because
the apartments I was living at
one
in
of the
college
I
in
was living at in
Gainesville,
college,
they
Gainesville,
apparently had outstanding
they
debts on
apparently
me
had
of
outstanding
about 12
debts on me of
of
about
about $12,
about
and
$12,
and one of
and
the other schools I
one of
went to in
the
Georgia,
other
I called
schools I went to in
pretend
Georgia, I
nursing
called
school because at that time I was
pretend
just
nursing school
desperate for a
because at
job and
that time I
training,
was just
and I
desperate
went
for a job and
there thinking
training,
I would
and I went
become a
there thinking
nursing
I would
assistant,
become a
and I didn't
nursing
because
assistant,
I
and I
went to the
didn't
practicals and I'm
because
like, yo, this is
I
not for me. I
went
don't
to the
want to do this.
practicals. And I'm like, yo, this is
I
not me. I don't
had
want
an
to do this. I
outstanding
had
debt
an
of about
outstanding debt of
I think
about
2,500,
I think
and it wasn't
2,500,
really an outstanding debt.
and
That's
it
just
wasn't
what the
really an
lady
outstanding
called it,
debt. That's
and
just
I
what the lady
called
called
her
it, and I
a few
called her
months before getting hired,
a
asking her
few
for a
months before
letter
getting
explaining
hired,
everything.
asking her
She
for a
didn't drag her
letter
feet on
explaining
me
everything.
and
And she
then blame
didn't
the whole thing on
drag
me
her
and
feet on it,
yelled at me and then
and
finally gave
then
the
blamed the whole thing
letter.
on me and
Talk
yelled at
about
me and then finally gave me the
doing your job right the
letter.
first time,
Talk
right?
about doing your
Anyways,
job right the first time,
the
right?
investigator
Anyways, the
basically had all that
investigator
information and was
basically
holding
had
on
all
to
that
it, trying to see if
information and
anything
was
else came
holding
in.
on to it, trying to see
And
if anything else
then
came
at
in.
the
And then at the 120
day is
day
when I got an email from the
mark is
investigator
when
saying,
I got
"Hey,
an email from the
you have
investigator
all
saying,
these
"Hey,
outstanding debts,"
you
and
have
I
all
had to
these
go and
outstanding debts,"
explain
and I had to go
in
and explain
almost 2 pages
in
as to why those
almost
debts
two
were there.
pages as to why those
So,
debts are there.
so I went and I
So,
paid off the
so
twelve
I
dollar
went
debt
and I
that I
paid
had,
off the $12 debt that I
and then
had,
the other twenty
and
five hundred
then
dollar
the
debt I had
other
to explain what was going on,
$2,500 debt I had to
and
explain what
then
was going on, and
other
then other
um uh
um
2 months
uh
later,
two
I got
months
my
later
security
I
clearance.
got my
What
security
happens
clearance.
during a security clearance
Happens
process?
during a
They go
security
and
clearance
talk to
process. They go
everybody
and
that you
talk
put
to
on that
everybody that you
application.
put on that
They
application.
talked to
They
they
talked to
talked to
they talked to
my parents,
um my
college
parents,
professors. They
college
talked to my friends,
professors.
my
They talked to my friends,
neighbors,
my
and just asked them
neighbors,
all kinds of things.
and just asked them all kinds of things.
So ideally, if
So
you have a clean
ideally,
background,
if
it
you have
should
a
take
clean
120 days.
background, it should take 120
If you
days.
have things going on in your
If you have
background,
things
if you
going on in your
changed houses,
background, if
if
you
you
changed
lived
house,
in different
if you
places, had a whole
lived
bunch
in
of
different places,
different
had a whole
jobs,
bunch of
it just
different jobs,
drags out the
it just
process that much.
drags out the process that much longer.
If you have a police
If you have a
record,
police
for example,
record,
you have
for example, you have
DUIs and
DUIs and
misdemeanors, things like that.
misdemeanors, things like
Can
that,
also drag out
that
the
can also
process. Or
drag out the
if you
process.
have
Or if you have
friends who are practical jokers,
friends who are
and they
practical
think
jokers
everything's
and
funny,
they
and they
think
think that
everything's
playing with
funny and they think that playing with your
your career is
career
one big joke, and
is
they tell the
one big
investigator
joke,
that, you're the kind of
and they
person that does all kinds of stupid stuff.
you're the
The
kind of person that
investigator
does all
takes
kinds of stupid
everything
stuff.
seriously,
The
and they take it at
investigator
face
takes
value. They don't
everything
play around.
seriously and they take it at
Some of
face
these
value.
people
They
don't
don't
have
play around.
a
Some
sense
of these
humor
people
at all.
don't have
That can
a
also drag
sense
out
of
your
humor at all.
process. So,
That can also
with
drag
that
out your
said,
process.
when
So,
you put down
with that
references on
said,
your background
when
check,
you put down
put down
references on your
people
background check,
who aren't practical jokers,
put down people
who don't think
who
everything's
aren't
a
practical jokers,
joke or try to
who don't think everything's a
mess around with
joke
you
or
just
try
because
to
they think it's cool.
mess around with you just because
Put
they think it's
down
cool.
responsible
Fun.
people.
Put down responsible people.
Also, if you're
Also,
friends with
if you
questionable people,
if you're friends with
people that you
questionable
don't
people,
want in other people
meaning people that you don't
exist,
want in other people
you should probably
knowing
cut your
that
ties with those
exist,
people.
you should probably
Because
cut your
those will be
ties
the
with those
people
people. Because
drag
those
you
will be the
down,
people that,
and you don't want questions being asked about, hey,
and you don't want
why are you
questions
friends with
being
this
asked
person?
about,
And
hey,
how long have you
why are you
known
friends with this person?
But hey,
And how long have
this
you
person's been to
known
prison. Why
this
are you still
person?
friends
But
with
hey, this
them?
person's been to
Had a
prison. Why are you still friends with them?
friend from
I
high
had a
school who
friend
was in
from
prison
high school
for
who was in prison for
I forgot why he got sent. But
I
anyways,
forgot.
when I found out, I cut
But
him off, I
anyways,
stopped talking to him.
when I found out, I cut him off.
Reached
I
out to
stopped
me on
talking to him.
Facebook one
He
day, and I told him, hey,
reached out to me on Facebook
government
one day, and I told him,
can't
hey,
talk
I
to you. It's
work
gonna
for the
cause me problems.
government.
He said,
Can't talk to
cool,
you. It's gonna cause me
no
problems.
problem.
He said,
Went away.
cool,
Haven't talked to him
no problem.
since then.
Went away. Haven't talked to him since then.
Does that answer any questions?
Does that answer any of your questions?
Okay. I was disqualified because I
I was
dad as a
disqualified because I put my dad as a relative and he doesn't have any
provide
U.S. documentation to
Section
provide me. Section 18.
Okay.
What did
the investigator tell you about that?
Investigator tell you about that?
Okay,
and
reason being is why you probably got
reason being is why you probably got
disqualified is because
disqualified is because
certain types of security clearances.
For certain jobs and certain types of security clearances,
certain types of people. So
you can't be affiliated with certain types of people. So I think there's something else that's going on there as to why you were denied a security clearance. I'm
expert on it, but
not
I can tell you just
the
basics.
world's greatest expert on it, but I can tell you just the basics. For example, for the security clearance that I have,
isn't something fantastic
and
or something
it
high at all. It's just
isn't something fantastic or something high at all. It's just like a simple security clearance.
If
your
spouse
if
isn't a U.S. citizen,
spouse
U.S. green card
isn't
holder,
a U.S. citizen or a U.S. green card holder, your security clearance is going to be
why is that?
Denied.
Just how the rules are written.
Why is that? That's just how the
US
rules are
government
written.
Can't tell you
the
who you can
U.S.
can't get
government can't tell you
what they can
who
tell
you
is
can
if
or
you
can't get
marry
married
person,
to.
It could cause
what they can tell you is if you marry this person, it could cause problems with your job. That's pretty much it. But
to find out exactly what happened, and then that'll explain
FOIA to find out exactly what happened, and then that'll explain why you were
Let me see if there's anyone in here.
Qualified.
Any questions?
Let me see if there's anyone in here. Any questions in here?
Okay, one person just became a
one person just became a
for cargo and
ramp agent for a cargo, and
TSA.
they received a badge, want to apply for TSA. Well, I have to pass another background.
Yes, you do. Because it's two
yes, you do.
Checks.
Because it's two separate background checks.
Airport background check is just
the
a simple
airport background check is just a simple local police background check. That's because the airport background check doesn't have access to
information, and it's a complete
federal information, and it's a complete different application. When you apply for a federal job,
your background check
you will do your background check all over again.
That's just how it is.
That's
local,
just how it is because local, county, and state background checks aren't enough for the federal government, and that's because for the type of jobs that you're applying for and the type of security clearance that you're getting, they have to go deeper into your background and try to see if there's anything else
local,
there.
State, and county
local, state, and county, they don't go that deep sometimes, depending on what your job is. Just because your job probably won't require it. If you're becoming a police officer, chances are they do go pretty deep in your background. I have friends who were police officers, and their local police department found information on them from different states.
Does that answer your question?
Does that answer your question?
And pass the whiskey. Okay.
And pass the
Not sure what that
whiskey.
Is,
okay. Not sure what that is, but okay.
Okay. Someone asked.
Okay.
What about hours of operation?
Someone asked. What about hours of operation?
Different shift times.
And are there advancement opportunities? I'm gonna grab some water. Give me a second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Where to go? All right. Hours of operation.
Okay. Where to go? All right. Hours of operations and different shift times and advancement opportunities. Okay. Hours of operations and shift times are dictated based on airline schedules.
During a certain time.
If there aren't any
TSA
flights
won't have any
during a certain time,
during that time, even if that schedule
TSA won't have any schedules available during that time, even if that schedule fits into your life and schedule, it still won't be offered. So airlines have to go to TSA and tell them ahead of time, hey, here's our flight schedules.
You have to have people here.
Here's what we've got going on. You have to have people here during these times.
Busy times are usually
in the mornings for the business travelers. Friday
evenings between
if you're on the East Coast between 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. and that's because the people are and that's because people are
or Vegas or the
flying to
West Coast,
Europe or Vegas or the
schedules are
West Coast.
Dictated based on what the airline tells
schedules are dictated based on what the airline tells TSA that they need people available for. It is a 24-hour operation, so there are people there overnight. However, the people that are there overnight, they don't always do too much. They just kind of hang out. It's a very chill schedule. The best schedules to get, I would say, are between
6 a.m. and that's because
8 p.m. and 6 a.m. and that's because you're just kind of standing guard and you're not doing anything during that time. So
hanging out.
And
that's pretty much it.
You're just kind of
hanging
out, and that's pretty much it. But anything between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m.
hustling. You're doing work because
you're
that's when all the
hustling.
flights are going
You're
in.
doing work because that's when all the
Depending on the
flights are
airport
going
that
in and
you're
out. Depending on the airport that you're at. Between
12 p.m.
And
8 p.m.
Between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m.
flights coming in.
There's
So if
international flights coming in.
JFK,
so if you're working at JFK,
Houston,
Atlanta,
Dallas,
Houston, I think Dallas, a lot of people have to transfer through TSA again because once you touch your check bags, you're no longer a screen passenger because there's things you can have in your check bag that you can't have in your personal carry-on. So during those times, there's also still people coming in off of international flights. Those are your busy hours. Okay. Advancement opportunities.
That's an interesting one.
Okay, that's an interesting one.
Yes.
Are advancement opportunities available?
However,
yes.
Because a lot of people at the TSA
tend to go and stay. A lot of people have spouses, kids, houses, families. They can't
it's an uphill battle.
Move.
TSA is very.
It's an uphill battle.
Heavy.
TSA is very veteran heavy. You are going to be fighting and clawing for every single promotion you try to get. So if you have other skills, if you have other education, start trying to find jobs in other agencies. When I came to immigration, advancement opportunities were very abundant because immigration.
We have the highest number of GS-15s
we have the highest
government
GS-15s
and the other reason why
government why advancement opportunities at immigration is so high is because we have our own funding. We are a multi-billion dollar government agency because people are paying application fees. And when you have your own funding, you can decide how many people you want to hire, how many people you want to promote, how many offices you want to open, what type of work you want to take on, because it doesn't really get dictated to you. It gets dictated by you. And by you, I mean your Director of Immigration and Homeland Security and all them. They come together, decide all that stuff. So advancement opportunities are available. It's very hard at TSA. However, at TSA, I have seen people jump pay grades.
D-band and
were
then
hired as a
over the course of about
D-band, and then over the course of about a year, they became an I-band checkpoint duty manager. How did that happen? The job posting was probably
or they had time and grade at a
public posting,
different agency, or from their time
military, or they had time and grade for an agency, or from their time in the military to show they qualified for that higher pay grade. So you can jump pay grades, but you have to have the resume and experience to back that up. Does that answer your question?
A job offer from Spectrum Charter.
What else do I have? Your quick questions. So I have a job offer from Spectrum Charter. Is being a federal employee better than not working for the federal government? Okay. You are talking to a person where I will tell you it just depends on what your goals are. If you are a
rich one day,
capitalist, and you want to be super rich one day, don't work for the government.
Person that
go to corporate.
A guaranteed job, even
if
in a bad economy.
You're the type of person that wants a guaranteed job even in a bad economy,
because in 2020 and 2021,
I would work for the
losing jobs,
government, because in 2020 and 2021,
even though we had the scared of a
I was doing just fine.
I wasn't worried about
even though we had the scare of a furlough. I wasn't worried about it because I'd be called back and I'd probably be given all kinds of back pay.
Come to the government.
If you want a stable, reliable job,
go to corporate.
Come to the government. If you want to constantly hop jobs and you want higher pay, go to corporate. With that said, if you're the kind of person that doesn't enjoy being told what to do, you don't enjoy having to be in at a certain time and be out at a certain time. You don't like being told when you can go on vacation or when you can call out sick. Being a W-2 employee is probably not going to work out for you. You're better off going out starting your own company. I've turned more people away from federal government than I have brought them on to government. And I say that because I talk to people all the time. I talk to people one-on-one. And based on what they tell me, I can tell that being a W-2 employee is not going to work out for them. With that said, when you apply for a job, you are asking to get on someone else's payroll. When you are on someone else's payroll, you are signing on to their game plan. Even if you don't agree with their game plan, you still have to do it. If that's not something you want to do, go off on your own and start your own business. I'm not trying to be sarcastic. I'm not trying to belittle you. I'm being honest with you. I've spoken to, I think 5 people this year. I convinced 2 of them to go out and start their own business. And guess what? That's exactly what they did. And that's because for them, that was the best option. And they're a lot happier because of that.
Other words, I don't have a.
Does that answer your question?
Yes or no as to what you should do.
In other words, I don't have a firm yes or no as to what you should do.
Varying shades of gray based on whatever.
Your answer isn't a simple black and white answer. Varying shades of gray based on whatever your long-term goals are.
Milwaukee International Airport is
okay, I applied to Milwaukee International Airport. It seems like they're pushing me through pretty quickly. Okay, that's a good thing, and that's simply because they're probably bleeding for people and they're short-handed.
You can start generating income and start.
The faster you get hired, the better it is for you because you can start generating income, start getting experience, and then you can take that. And if you want to jump to something else, you can definitely do that, or you can hang out. It's up to you. Working at the TSA, honestly, it really isn't that bad of a job. I had a lot of fun when I worked there. Only because if I'm going to be there for 2 years, I might as well enjoy my time while I'm there. And I had a whole
just because they enjoyed interacting with me.
Fan club. I had people who would come to my line at the checkpoint just because they enjoyed interacting with me over other people. And that's because I joked around with people all the time. I made sarcastic comments. And once people figured out who I was, that they just enjoyed being around me. I'm not saying I'm better than other people. All I'm saying is I can take a bad situation and find the good in that. All right.
It's been almost 2 months. Okay. Once again,
haven't heard
no news
back from my investigator. It's been almost 2 months. Okay, once again, no news is good.
Like giving the paperwork
with you, talking to investigators is not something I ever enjoyed doing.
I don't want to talk to them
once I give them the paperwork, all I want them to do is verify the information and sign off on it. I don't want to talk to them ever again.
It's a very
I'm not saying that they're bad people.
I don't have anything to hide in my background.
Just saying it's a very frustrating, nerve-wracking process. I don't have anything to hide in my background. I don't care if they go digging. They can do it all they want. It just isn't an enjoyable process. But once again, like I told you, when you get on someone else's payroll, you just have to play the game.
Okay.
Is there anything here?
There's anything else down here? Hey, what's up, Father? Hey.
Okay.
Brian.
There's anything else down here? Hey, what's up, Father? Hey.
You an email.
Hey, doing, Brian?
Yeah.
Thank you for the answer. Can I send you an email what they sent after? Yeah. Go ahead. I'll go ahead and look at them. Or you and I'll tell you what they're thinking and thought process was. Once again, I'd be taking a guess, but you have to file a FOIA to find out exactly what happened.
Yes.
Will credit affect TSA background? I have a clean criminal record.
If you have
yes,
bad credit, that's
your
one thing.
Credit
a lot of people
will
have bad credit.
Affect your background check. If you have bad credit, that's one thing. A lot of people have bad credit. If you're fresh out of college,
all good to go.
You probably barely have any credit. If you didn't have a credit card and you weren't paying bills, you were staying on campus. Who cares? It's all good to go.
In collections.
It comes down to, do you have any
federal investigations trying to find
delinquencies in collections?
Are you able
what
to
a federal investigation is trying to find out with your finances is, are you able to maintain your expenses on your current income and still survive? If the answer is yes, then okay, you're good to go.
I've got plenty
if the answer is
I can tell you about.
No, you become susceptible to bribery. I've got plenty of bribery stories I can tell you about.
If you open and close lots of credit cards, kind of like I do.
Things that affect
credit score that just
credit.
Constantly does this.
If you open and close lots of credit cards, kind of like I do. I have a credit score that just constantly does this all the time. Because
look at how
I enjoy credit cards, and so
you have an old account,
when you keep posting,
the average age of your account.
Look at how old your account is, and
drop your credit score.
If you have an old account and you close it, then the average age of your account decreases, which can drop your credit score. If you have payments or outstanding debt, for example, if you have student loans, car payment, mortgage, like that. Once you pay that off, because
your credit score is going to
because those are some of the longest accounts.
Go back up again.
Once it's paid off,
because
your credit score is going to dip a little bit, and it's going to go back up again. Because the age of your accounts has decreased. So don't sit there and focus on your credit score. Focus on keeping your bills paid and up to date. People who focus on their credit score are people who pay interest. I know people at my former office in Virginia. She has a law degree from Georgetown. I work with a lot of people that have law degrees. And these people brag about their credit scores. I have an 820 credit score. I'm doing great. Well, people with high credit scores are very good at paying interest. You have a high credit score, which tells the bank, hey, give these people lots of money because they will faithfully pay you interest.
person. You don't want to be the bank's favorite person.
Don't be the bank's favorite person. You don't want to be the bank's favorite person.
They go, yeah.
You want to be someone that the bank wants to work with, but you don't want to be the person that they go, yeah, give money to that guy. Because that guy pays a lot of interest. People who pay lots of interest have high credit scores, have lots of
worry about your credit
debt.
score.
I think I've beat that horse to death.
Credit history.
So don't worry about your credit score. Just keep a clean credit history. You don't want to have too many charge-offs. You don't want to have too much delinquency. You don't want to have gambling debts. If you gamble a lot and you have gambling debts you can't pay off, number one, stay out of Vegas, because that's probably not a place that you want to go to. And two, the investigator is going to ask, why do you have all these gambling debts? What's going on? Because once again, you become susceptible to bribery, and people don't want to play those games. Okay. Background. Okay. Does the TSA have people with expunged records? Okay, I'm going to tell you the same thing that my Army lieutenant told me. There isn't any such thing as expunged when it comes to a federal background check. You have to disclose everything. If you don't, it's going to cause you problems. And the investigator's going to start to ask, hey, how come you didn't disclose this? And then you've got to explain yourself. You tell the investigator's going to tell you, go get that information. So, why is it that expunged records aren't immune from a investigation? National security. It's a catch-all term. If you are going to be entrusted with a position where you control access to a secured area, or you have access to certain types of information or whatever, you can't have anything in your background that can be compromising. So, if you have an expunged, as an example, if you have an expunged record and you don't disclose it, and you somehow get away with it, and some other country, terrorist group,
they can come to you and say, hey,
billionaire, oligarch, whomever, finds out, they can come to you and say, hey, I have this information on you. Either you start working for us, or we tell your government about it. What do you want to do?
To protect itself,
so, in order for the U.S. government to protect itself and protect the people in the country, they don't want those liabilities. That's why expunged records don't exist. In the words of my Army lieutenant, expunged records simply means the attorney got more money out of you. That's all it is. So expunged records help if you're applying for a corporate job or applying for
but if you're applying for a security clearance,
state and federal records don't help you. If you are applying for a security clearance,
okay.
Expunged records don't help you. You have to disclose it. Okay. What is the next one? Is it common for
I never heard from my BI
background investigator to not contact you? I never heard from my BI and was offered the TSO job. But when I applied, that wasn't common. Everyone had to go to an investigator. But today, I think it is commonplace because you're the second person to tell me that you didn't have an interview with an investigator. You were just
that is only
given the job.
For a basic public trust security clearance.
That is only commonplace for a basic public trust security clearance. That's what every
blue shirts on the
TSO gets, Transportation Security Officer. Those are the people in the blue shirt, the checkpoint, that tell you to take off your shoes, and they take your water bottles and, put you in the body scanner and all that.
So
you have a basic public trust security clearance, so you can be cleared through security without ever someone contacting you. If you're being contacted, then that means that there's something going on in your background that has to be cleared up, and they have to double check that with you. If you have a job as an if you have a job that's higher than public trust, you are going to have an interview with an investigator. Simply because they're just going to ask all kinds of questions about all kinds of things in your background. And the higher up that you go in security clearance, the more and more questions that they can ask. So if you apply for top secret CI, that's one of the highest you can get. And what that thing is, you have access to a very small amount of information, but it goes into a lot of detail. Those people are working for the FBI, CIA, NSA, and they start getting polygraphed, and they ask you all kinds of questions during that polygraph. They will sit outside your house, and they will watch the people going in and out of your house. So if you want to open yourself up to that type of scrutiny, go ahead, and basically that's the type of jobs that you apply for, or that's the type of security clearance that you'd get for that level, if that makes sense. I kind of wandered off, but yeah, you guys get the point.
Nothing else here.
Let me see if there's anyone here.
Let me check the other.
Okay, so nothing else here.
There.
Okay, let me check the other one. I'm not sure if there's anyone there.
I don't think this one has it.
It's start your business time.
4-1. I don't think this one has anybody in it.
Then.
Okay, I'm just gonna close that one out. Then.
Does anyone else have any other questions?
Does anyone else have any other questions that they want to ask me?
Let me check the other one. Okay, I don't see anything else here.
Let me check the other one. Okay, I don't see anything else here.
Okay. Nothing here. Nothing here. All right. I've been here almost 2 hours.
Nothing here. Nothing here. All right. I've been here almost 2 hours. I think I've gotten most of your questions.
I had a felony 10 years ago, and I cleared my justice record. I applied for armed security guard, U.S. Embassy in my country. I have investigation that is part of a recruiting process. You think I get rejected after I cleared everything a long time ago? I don't have that answer. That is going to be between you and State Department Security and whatever they want. Overseas security, jobs with State Department and overseas security I don't know very much about that. I won't try to guess. I don't want to give you a bad answer, but it's a wait and see kind of thing. If you were applying for a job in the United States as a United States citizen, I can give you a more detailed answer. But once you're overseas and you're a foreign citizen applying for a job at the U.S. Embassy, it's a whole different ball game, and I don't understand that ball game simply because I never had to go through that process. Okay, does anyone else have any other questions? Nothing here. Nothing here. I know some of you have my phone number, so let me just make sure I didn't get any texts. Nothing there. Nothing there. Okay, so if you found this helpful, tell me in the comments. If you want me to do this more often, go ahead and tell me in the comments. I'm going to try to do this every Saturday around the same time. Unless I'm traveling and I'm on the road, then time zones become a problem, and I'll try to work something out. I do travel pretty often, so and you can also send me your questions ahead of time, and I'll go ahead and answer all of them. And yes, I do have a video coming up. I just have to record it. I caught COVID and made things very difficult. When I was overseas, I was trying to record the video, but jet lag also took over, and by the time I got home from work, I was exhausted. So I understand a lot of you have CBTs coming up. I'm doing a video on how to read an x-ray, so you can all start passing your CBT portion, not the CBT. You can start passing the x-ray portion of your CBT. I will teach you just the bare basics of the things I did when I took the CBT. I can't teach you the entire process of reading an x-ray because I just can't talk about certain things, but I can teach you the things I did to pass that part. I will try to have that video out as soon as possible. As you can tell, I'm still getting over COVID. As soon as I stop coughing, I'll get the video done and out to all of you. Until then, thank you for everyone that came. Thank you, Paul, for the heads up, and peace out. All right, how do I end this? All right, let me go. Let me find it. Oh, I think it's this one. What? I got 2 out of 3. I gotta find the other one. I don't have any idea how to find it.
Dude, that was a great stream, though.
Oh well, thanks. I appreciate it. Live. All right, let me go. How do I find it? Oh, I think it's this one. I don't know how to cut this. I got 2 out of 3. I gotta find the other one. I don't have any idea how to find it. Let me hang on.
That was a great stream, though.
Oh well, thanks. I appreciate it. Live.
All
All right, let me go. How do I